Hi everyone, this is Skullstruggle TCG and I am here with my very first battle video. And actually I'm going to move over one. This is a battle I played with my friend from school. His name is Delney. We decided to spend a whole day just practicing Pokemon battling with our same team over and over again. I only recorded 2 matches, but they are the best 2 matches that we had all day. So, a quick look at my team. The Delphox and Lucario there are not part of my competitive team. They are part of my the team that I use to get through my game. The Hydreigon is specially invested in speed and special attack. The Tyranitar is invested in attack and HP. Aegislash is invested in, I think, defense and special attack, or maybe, no, it's defense and attack. And the Amoonguss is invested in HP, and then a mixture of special defense and defense. So pretty much the Amoonguss is a Hulk. I would really love to add a Cresselia to my team because of Trick Room so that my Amoonguss and Aegislash can go fast. But unfortunately, Cresselia is not available right now. And I really don't know what to add for my 6th Pokemon. I'll have to work on that later. But anyway, my Lucario and Delphox are just there because I decided they sort of even out my team a little bit, and they are the most powerful of anyone on my regular team. So looking at Delney's team, he has a Blaziken, and that is the Speed Boost Blaziken, and it's holding the Wide Lens. Mostly for Blaze Kick, so that it can, it has a almost 100% accuracy for Blaze Kick. His Ferrothorn is there. I'm not exactly sure why I didn't really get to use it that much. He has the Frogadier. I'm sorry, not Frogadier, Greninja, and it is not the Protein Greninja. This is just a substitute until he gets the Protein Greninja. The Kangaskhan is Kangaskhan that has a really huge physical attack stat. It is the one that Mega Evolves, so Power Up Punch is his biggest method of powering that thing up. And then he also has a Noivern and a Hydreigon. And this is one of the first 2 battles I'm going to show you with me against him. So let me make sure that this is positioned correctly, and let's get started. So he leads out with his Hydreigon, and I lead out with my Hydreigon. Based on, in our previous battles, we had never sent out 2 Hydreigons against each other, so I do not know what goes first. I just go with my Dragon Pulse and hope for the best, and I do go first. In fact, after we looked at this afterwards, it turns out my Hydreigon is only 3 points higher in speed than his. So that was pretty amazing. We were both surprised by that. He sends out his Noivern next, and from previous battles, I know that it outspeeds me, and it knows Dragon Pulse, so there's nothing I can do. I could switch out here, but my Hydreigon has done its job. It's taking out one of the biggest Hulks on his team. I go for the U-turn, not really thinking that I would survive the Dragon Pulse, but I do with 5 HP. The U-turn knocks into the Noivern, I get some damage in while I switch out. My Hydreigon is now available for later. I switch into my Tyranitar solely for Sandstream, but also this Tyranitar has Rock Slide, and I'm just hoping that he doesn't switch out so I can get off of Rock Slide. It looks like he didn't switch out. He's going for Dragon Pulse, which is not going to do too much damage. I go for the Rock Slide, and I believe that'll be a knockout. Yep. So, I've now taken down 2 of his Pokemon, and he has taken down 0 of mine, and at this point I'm feeling pretty good. Leftovers restore a little bit of HP. Normally this is a Tyranitar that Mega Evolves on my team, but this time I had Lucario that can Mega Evolve, so I really couldn't afford to have 2 Pokemon with the same Mega Evolution Stone. So he sends in his Blaziken, the Speed Boost one, and there's not much I can do against it, so I'm just going to Rock Slide. He goes for the Swords Dance, so now his attack is raised, and after the Speed Boost, his speed is risen as well. So I know he's going to try and attack me. I go for the Protect, and he goes for the Sky Uppercut, and that's a fighting type move. It would have knocked me out. No chance otherwise. And the Blaziken is one of the biggest threats on his entire team to me because I don't have anything at all that can possibly take it on. So he goes for a Sky Uppercut, and that will be a knockout. But I'm fine with that. Except at this point, I realize that I am in a very bad position. Because that was the turn the Sandstorms decided. If I had decided to switch out that turn, it would have been better, but oh well. I send in my Aegislash, not really knowing what to expect. I know he is a fire type, but he also is very bad at predicting my King Shield, so... In fact, here I did not go for the King Shield, I go for the Shadow Sneak, which is not going to be very effective against Greninja, but it does a respectable amount of damage. And I'm holding the Life Orb, so on top of the Rocky Helmet, I have to take damage from Life Orb, and that's not the funnest thing. I go into King Shield, and this is probably something he wasn't expecting, because I also carry Sacred Sword, and that would definitely one-shot Greninja. So, I know I don't outspeed it, but I'm pretty sure I can outlive the Scald, and I do handily. I go for the Sacred Sword. I believe that'll be a knockout. It is a knockout, so it is now my 3 Pokemon to his... I'm sorry, I've knocked out 3 of his Pokemon, he has knocked out only 1 of mine. But I'm still not in the best positions. Since it is Ferrothorn, and my counter to this is Delphox. So I go for a King Shield here, expecting for him to try to hit me. And he does try to hit me. And that lowers his attack harshly. I go for another King Shield, hoping that it wouldn't hit, but unfortunately, it didn't work. Payback will knock me out. Now, it's a little more even. I've lost 2 Pokemon, he's lost 3. I send in my Delphox, and I use Flamethrower. That'll easily knock it out. It is 4 times weak to my Flamethrower. So, but still, his last 2 Pokemon are the biggest threat, Kangaskhan and Blaziken. And this is a Kangaskhan that I have a horrible time against. I can never seem to knock it out when I need to, and I just have bad luck with it. And here he Mega Evolves and goes for the Fake Out. I knew he would go for the Fake Out, that's why I switched out. And my, like I said, my Delphox is not... it's not powered up in any specific way. It is the one that I used in my team when I was going through the game. So here, I decided to Mega Evolve myself. Mega Lucario has a special ability that raises its attack whenever you use a stab attack. So Power Up Punch raises attack, and that's definitely going to knock me out. I was hoping I would go first, but obviously that didn't happen, so... that's Lucario that didn't get to do anything except Mega Evolve during the whole turn. I send in my Hydreigon. I know I probably can't outspeed it. In fact, it uses Sucker Punch, so there's no way I could have. I could have gone for a Protect, I probably should have, but it doesn't matter. So now I think I'm down to only 2 Pokemon as well. I send in my Amoonguss hoping to get a Hacks off, but he uses Outrage that is going to hurt me a little bit. And here I was actually going for the Toxic instead of the Spore. I probably should have gone for the Spore. Oh wait, no, I do go for the Spore. I managed to put that thing to sleep. Very glad to have done that. Now that's something that I can possibly work to my advantage. I switch out my Amoonguss. Hopefully I can use it later. I go back into my Delphox because it has Blast Burn, and I know that can do a hefty amount of damage. But I go for the double switch here. I guess I was just thinking maybe I could trick him into doing something, but I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking there. That was definitely the wrong play to do. He went for the Sucker Punch though, so that will not touch me. Here I go for the Protect, trying to regain some of my damage, some of my health back. He goes for Power Up Punch. Of course, I protect myself. So I was just hoping that I could live 2 Power Up Punches here. And it looks like I do, handily. That was very fortunate for me to live that. So I use Spore, try to put him back to sleep. Here, I absolutely need to switch back into my Delphox to get off of Blast Burn. So, I don't. I go for the Giga Drain, I think. Yep. I don't know what I was thinking. I needed to switch into Delphox and get off of Blast Burn. But I guess I'm just trying to regain as much of my health as possible. That way I can, like, live another power-up punch. And he wakes up after 2 turns. That's unfortunate, but I really should have thought of that and switched into my Delphox. He goes for the Outrage. That will knock me out after just 1 hit, not even 2. The baby didn't even need to hit me. My Delphox is all I have left. And I go for the Blast Burn. And that doesn't knock him out. It gets him close, but not quite. That means I have to recharge here, even if I did live this. And I don't. So that'll be his game. And there's nothing I could do about it. So after this, we felt like it was so close, we may as well do another game. And that's what I'm going to show you next, our rematch. Same teams as earlier, but we'll actually see what happens this time. So he leads out with his Noivern, and I lead out with my Hydreigon. I know I cannot possibly outspeed it, and it has Dragon Pulse. I am going to die in 1 hit from that thing. I go for the Protect just so that he loses one of the PPs from his Dragon Pulse, and then switch out. I go into my Tyranitar, which I know can knock it out. I know he's going to go for Dragon Pulse again. He was probably hoping on me to stay in, but, you know, I didn't. So, goes for a Dragon Pulse. That's not going to do that much damage to me. In fact, it did less this time than it did last time. The Sandstorm hurts it. I get a little HP back with my leftovers. He withdraws Noivern and goes into his Ferrothorn. I went for a Rock Slide here. I decided even if it didn't hit the Noivern, it was probably safe to hit just about anything. It didn't do that much damage to Ferrothorn, but it did land a critical hit, which really worked in my favor here. We both have the leftovers items, so it'll restore both of our health a little bit. I go for the Fire Fang. He completely forgot that I held the Fire Fang on my Tyranitar. In fact, I had never used it in battle. He only knew I had it because I had showed him my team some point earlier this week. And he didn't remember until after he had called his attack. Oh wait, this thing has the Fire Fang. So I do knock out the Ferrothorn with my Fire Fang. Take a few damage from Iron Barbs, but that's fine. Switches into his Kangaskhan, and I switch out into my Lucario, knowing he's going to go for the Fake Out. And he does not Mega Evolve, so that will not hit me twice, which means I have a very good chance of living another turn. Long enough to Mega Evolve and go for a close combat. And again, I decided no matter what, this would do a hefty amount of damage to whatever he sent in if he didn't keep his Kangaskhan there. So I Mega Evolve into Mega Lucario and go for the close combat. That is going to do a fair amount of damage to Noivern, not quite enough to knock it into the red, but more than enough for me to be satisfied. And what's better is close combat doesn't lower attack or special attack, it just lowers defense and special defense. And Lucario, since I haven't trained it up in any way, is pretty much dead in 1 hit anyway, so I don't really care going for that move more than once. I switch in my Tyranitar expecting him to do something, and sure enough he goes for the Air Slash, and that probably would have knocked out my Lucario. So, my Tyranitar is doing its job very well. This game was pretty much determined by a mix of predictability and hacks, and by hacks, you will see what I mean a little later. He knows there's not much left for his Noivern, he cannot really use it for anything useful, so he just has it do Dragon Pulse, do as much damage to me as possible, and that does put me pretty far down. I go for the Crunch just to knock it out. Restore a little HP with my leftovers, and let's see what he sends out next. Okay, he's going to send out his Blaziken. I know it has a Sky Uppercut. There's no possible way I can outspeed or anything like that. He is going to predict my protect and go for the sword stance. And I really should have predicted he would go for the sword stance and that he would go for my protect. But, you know, that's just what happens when you try to predict a little more than you should. He gets a speed boost off, and he is going to... Oh, I am going to switch out here. Predict that he's going to Sky Uppercut and go to my Aegis Slash. It doesn't affect me because it's a fighting type move. And here again, I really don't know what I'm going to do because this is a fire type. I'm up against a fire type, and there's nothing I can really do about it. He goes for his own protect, which I did not know he even had. So here I tried to go for a Sacred Sword. Obviously that didn't go through because it protected itself. And here is where the hacks get in my favor. He goes for... Oh, I go for my Shadow Sneak. Blaze Kick. He goes for Blaze Kick, and he's holding a Wide Lens, which raises Blaze Kick by 10% of its original percentage. 99% accurate, and it misses. And that's just incredibly unfortunate. We were both screaming and yelling like, what? Blaze Kick completely missed me. And I was able to get an attack off that turn, and that was probably the game-deciding thing right there. So Kangaskhan, he switched into his Kangaskhan just so his Blaziken wouldn't be knocked out. He's going to Mega Evolve his Kangaskhan and probably go for the... Nope, he's going for the Sucker Punch because I switched into my Lucario. I go for Close Combat, knock that thing out in one hit. And I can honestly say that's the first time I've ever knocked out his Kangaskhan in one hit. I think that's the first time I knocked it out at all. But... And he has his Blaziken left. I'm not exactly sure what else. But I do believe I'll be able to knock it out with this Close Combat, and I do. And there's not much he can do. I have the game. He switches into his Greninja, and I could just use Close Combat one more time. Even the Scald is not going to knock me out, I don't think. Oh, never mind. It is. Like, I had lost a lot of defense and special defense because of Close Combat. But my Aegis Slash knows Sacred Sword. I know by now that it can more than live a Scald, and it can knock out the Greninja in just one hit with Sacred Sword. I think this might be his last Pokemon, and I think this might be the game. Oh no, I'm sorry. Looks like there's another 3 turns left, so he has at least a few more Pokemon. He's going to send in his Hydreigon next. Yeah, I forgot about Hydreigon. This is the one that's going to take me a little longer to knock out. This is his last Pokemon, I remember now. He has Flamethrower, which is definitely going to knock me out. That's fine. Aegis Slash is useless against it, and it's the last Pokemon. I have a very accurate plan for how to handle it. I'm going to send in my Amoonguss. Even though I know he has a Flamethrower, I know my Amoonguss can handle it because it is just a physical... It is a wall in every sense of the word. I go for my Spore to put it to sleep. Now I know that my Hydreigon can definitely outspeed it if there was any question about it earlier. I switched into my Hydreigon. I ran the risk here of him waking up in between turns and going for like a Dragon Pulse or something, but he didn't. And now I know for sure I outspeed, and this will be the game. So this is just a show, kind of what goes on during competitive battling. Again, my team's not perfect, to be honest, his team isn't perfect, but this is how battles go. And I just wanted to show off some of the stuff that I've been doing in X and Y. And if you have any suggestions for how I can improve my team, leave it in the comments below. Delney doesn't have a YouTube, but if he ever gets one, I'll be sure to link it in this video. So, thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.